In the small, whispering town of Eldridge Hollow, legends had a way of wrapping their gnarled fingers around the hearts of its residents. Among these legends, one stood out like a jagged scar on the landscape, a mysterious stretch of woods known as the Cursed Thicket. The townspeople warned against entering, especially after dusk, for they said it was home to creatures twisted by dark magic and sorrow. Olive, a curious 16-year-old with a penchant for adventure, had heard the tales woven in hushed tones around bonfires, tales that spoke of ghostly howls and shadows that moved of their own accord. While the rest of her friends chose to heed the warnings, Olive felt an irresistible pull toward the thicket. She dismissed the superstitions as mere folklore, her heart beating with youthful audacity. So, one crisp autumn evening, when the moon hung low and full in the sky, she gathered her courage and ventured across the town's boundary. As she stepped into the woods, a chill swept through the air, making her shiver. The trees towered above her, their skeletal branches clutching the twilight like claws. She could hear the rustling leaves whispering secrets she couldn't decipher, and an unsettling silence enveloped her, broken only by her own footsteps. Yet, as she pressed deeper, her excitement morphed into apprehension, an itch at the back of her mind warning her to turn back. Just as she contemplated retreating, a low growl reverberated from the shadows. Crouching low behind a gnarled old tree, Olive's heart raced as she saw it. A creature unlike any she had ever encountered. It was a gaunt figure with sunken eyes glowing like dying embers, its skin mottled and shriveled as if pulled too tightly over jagged bones. A hushed whisper echoed in her mind, weaving thoughts of despair and hunger, and she realized with a jolt that this was one of the cursed beings of the thicket. The creature, sensing her presence, turned its gaze towards the tree. Olive held her breath, her heartbeat drumming loudly in her ears. Yet, strangely enough, she felt a strange sense of empathy in its movements. It lurked forward, dragging itself with a sluggish gait as it raised its bony hand, clutching a small, faded object. Olive squinted, and her heart sank. It was a locket, glinting silver even in the dim light. She could make out a woman's face etched inside, one that bore an uncanny resemblance to her own mother. Panic surged through her veins. How could this be? Her mother had never spoken of the thicket, and yet here was a physical link, a thread woven into the fabric of both their lives. "You shouldn't be here," the creature rasped, its voice like dry leaves scraping against one another. "You have come for answers, but the answers are buried in shadows, and shadows do not forgive." "I don't understand," Olive stammered, stepping forward despite the fear gnawing at her. "What are you? Why do you have that locket?" With a heavy sigh, the creature dropped to its knees, the locket clinking softly against the forest floor. "Once, I was a guardian of this land. But a curse befell me, twisted me into this abhorrent form because I defied the darkness that seeped into our hearts. The locket belonged to my beloved, cast away when the shadows grew too powerful. I lost everything, and in doing so, I became a vessel of despair." Olive's curiosity morphed into a chilling realization. This wasn't just a monster, it was a warning wrapped in sorrow. The thicket thrived on darkness, and here she was, teetering on the brink of a fate that had claimed others before her. "How can I undo this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Only by embracing the light can you uncover the truth," the creature replied, its voice wavering like a fading echo. "Seek the heart of the thicket, the glimmering stone, where hope remains untainted. But beware, for the shadows will try to ensnare you." With its parting words echoing in her mind, Olive clutched the locket and turned away, heart racing as she retraced her steps. Shadows clawed at her, whispers thrummed in her ears, tempting her with images of power and despair, but she pushed them aside, her determination unwavering. As she exited the thicket, the air cleared, the weight of darkness lifting. Olive ran back into town, breathless but resolute. She would return, to seek the glimmering stone, to free the creatures trapped in the thicket, and perhaps to unearth the secrets of her family's past. Little did she know that the forest had only just begun to stir, its grasp lingering, tempting her to return. As she dashed past the familiar homes, a shiver ran down her spine. The thicket was more than a tale, it was a living nightmare, and Olive had not escaped so easily. For the darkness lingers long after the light has faded, ready to reclaim its own.